Hey, welcome, family. We're back at the round table. And as you hear these lovely vibes right now from our special guest, which he will be introducing in a little bit, we're glad that you can join us tonight. As you can see, I'm not Carrie Disney. I'm trying to fill in. I'm trying to conjure up my inner Carrie Disney. Right now, Mr. Disney is handling family matters, so we like to say, Carrie, that we're keeping you in prayer, and hope everything works out all right. All right, sis, good to have you back. Go ahead and let you introduce yourself as well.
Surprise, Melissa Bartlett, the Afro-female, I'll say #1, maybe #2, but our special lovely guest here this evening, songstress, the beautiful, talented Nicci Canada.
All right, now. So what's been going on with you, Nicci?
Man, I tell you, I've been really busy. Outside of being an artist, which I love to do, you know, I launched ATRT Productions Incorporated.
Yes.
I think that's been a whole nother project all within itself, you know. But I love what I do. You know, it's a media and music production company specializing in live jazz entertainment, and I'm getting into some you know, small stage production. So it's exciting.
And you be producing the concerts throughout the Charlotte region, right?
Yeah. Yes, and I have got a really great partnership with the Arts and Science Council through Culture Blocks. So that's been a really good partnership, and you know, getting a couple calls too as far as some sponsors from other companies. So Tapestry is growing.
Nice. Hey, Terry J. L. Disney joining us tonight.
Hey, Terry.
Hey, Terry.
Now, one unique thing that I like about your productions, I'm gonna let you spill the beans, because these concerts are highly recommended, and I'm talking about highly recommended. A lot of the folks that I've seen that came through and had the opportunity to take part in it and watch it speaks very highly. So, if you wouldn't mind, let our people out there know what the cost to attend these affairs are.
Well, it just depends. You know, whenever I do a partnership with Arts and Science Council, it's actually free to the public, which is good. Free to the public. But I always tell people, you know, free can sometimes hurt you. Don't forget to support your local artists. But whenever the partnership is with Culture Blocks, these shows are absolutely free. You can come out and get live, quality live jazz entertainment with seasoned musicians.
Quality live.
Yes, and we start on time.
Right.
So you're not waiting a half hour.
No,
and you don't have a half hour to get there.
Absolutely excellent.
Is there a second?
Yeah.
That's half the battle right there.
That's it. Yes.
Yeah. All right. So Melissa, I done had you introduce this topic a couple of times today. I'm gonna ask for you to just do it one more time. But before we actually drop what we're going to be talking about today, I just want to let everybody know that we might be stepping on a few toes, so don't get offended. We're just having an open dialogue here and trying to come to some solutions and some resolutions.
That's it.
All right. So if you wouldn't mind, Melissa, drop it.
So for a three-peat, tonight's topic is going to be It Takes a Village. We are trying to discuss and get some insight on today's youth, our influence on that as a village, being proactive or reactive, being preventive, or being what we need to do to see who we can help. So let's start some comments. I think A Money is gonna start out with some research, some topics, some facts that he's dug up.
Well, before I even jump into that, let me thank Mr. Carrie Disney for joining in.
Hey, Carrie.
Keeping you, yeah, we just talked about you before you checked in, keeping you and your family in prayer, bro. Again, like I said before you checked in, I'm trying to conjure up my inner Mr. Disney and take your place tonight, but we'll see how that goes. Ms. Renee Thompson, thank you also for joining in.
Renee.
Yeah, and please share. All of y'all drop some comments in as we start to delve into this little situation. Now, right now, most prominent in the news is bullying. You see that everywhere, whether it's on social media, whether it's at school. A lot of kids are actually dealing with for lack of better words, the issue of bullying. So I think everybody around here has kids at home. Have any of your kids ever had to deal with bullying?
No, not mine.
I didn't know that they were.
Mhm.
It was during middle school, and now my oldest is entering college, and my youngest is around sophomore. Sorry, freshman. Oh, then it's junior. Sorry. And my oldest shared with me that she was being bullied, like when she was in middle school. She had a girl who didn't like her, and I don't think she went to the extremes of how we're seeing on the news and the media and some videos, but I was shocked because I raised them to like stand up for themselves and back down and things of that nature. So it can be in different degrees of bullying as well. I think we see on the forefront as far as like the severity of being cornered in the bathroom and jumped by a group and doing other stuff, but it can be different stuff, just little things being said to her, messing with her stuff, and when they would like leave out for lunch, and she would like take her notebooks and stuff like that. I didn't know any of this was going on, and I try to be as engaged as I can with my kids. So
They don't share it all.
they don't share it all. So parents, ask about bullying, ask about it specifically because you may not know it's going on with your children.
Consistently. Yeah, I would ask my boys the same thing, but I also made it clear that we are not to bully.
Yes.
Great.
I raised them. We don't bully. We show everybody love and respect. So there's a lot of reasons why they don't tell us. And you know what? I would just say that I don't know if it happened. They didn't tell me, but it wasn't that I didn't have the communication lines weren't open.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Carrie Disby stated, my people. Keith, thank you for checking in with us as well.
Thank you.
Keith is the knowledge bringer, and Keith already started off with parenting is becoming a lost art.
Thanks to the internet, huh?
Yes.
Social media.
He also states that accountability and respect are not the same as our generation is growing up. All right, and Mr. Disby also noted that some parents want to be friends and buddies. We are parents and have to establish a line of respect.
Okay.
I totally agree with that. Totally agree. I remember coming up and my parents' approach dealing with bullying was to actually punch the bully in his face.
Right.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
Right.
Right now, and this is just my opinion.
That's self-defense, though. I mean,
I totally agree.
I
I totally
I think
agree.
it's self-defense now.
And I think the unfortunate thing right now is that kids are
Just say it.
Yeah, just say.
Yeah, they're sheltered, and when I say sheltered, they don't have the social skills to actually address each other.
Right. Conflict. Yeah.
Exactly. So being on social media all the time, I think isolates them from being able to know how to talk to individuals directly in person. So I think a lot of that hampers, them growing up.
We decided to go out. My parents would say, go out there and fix it.
Right.
Go take care of it.
Because y'all live on the same street. Y'all neighbors. Y'all do
That's right.
And I'm probably gonna just make a little people draw their toes in. I feel that parents are raising their kids to be soft.
Really?
They're raising their kids to be soft.
Everybody's sensitive.
And it's so sensitive.
Right.
Like, well, he has to go. He has to. Well, I never saw so many parents make negotiations and allowances for their kids. Like, I didn't want to be my mother where it was, don't ask me questions because I said so. But at the same time, you should have like some type of a standard of authority. And I feel like the kids they can rule the house. And parents, make an excuse for it.
Yeah.
So kids are very sensitive. They're, they don't have the
Dependent.
sweat. They
Yeah.
don't have to be inconvenienced, and they're so dependent. You're
Yeah.
supposed to be teaching your children to be independent. You're teaching them to be more dependent. And example, one time my daughter's friends came over. We were like in the dining room, and it was like quiet, and everybody was like, and I said, no. I said, everybody put your phones up. How are you in the same room with each other and you're on the phone? Put them up.
Right.
And how are you visiting? That's not how you visit.
Right.
On your phone? Absolutely not. Like to pull up a song or to show a funny video, I get it. But that is not being social. And I don't know. I feel like I'm a oddball in the parent realm.
Well, like you said, we came up in a different, because with them, after me and my son have great dialogue. He's 17, and he's very open with me, which is what I love. I've always opened up lines of communication. I have 21 years. But he's like, Mom, I get it. We are different. He said, but I mean, it's like we're looking at them and we're like, they're so different, but they don't see it that way. This is a new era, a new generation. Obviously, things adapt. Society adapts. Unfortunately, I still believe that the way things are set up now, these kids are really soft. Everybody believes they're just entitled.
Yes.
Every kid gets a trophy. We grew up, you got that trophy because you earned it. You know what I'm saying? If you weren't good on the field, you just sat the bench.
Right
now.
I don't have issues. You don't want to do that.
No. Well, I was very athletic growing up. If you wasn't good, you just sat the bench. You may have got in maybe 5-10 minutes before the game was over, but it taught you that if you want to be better, you work for it. Right. Now it's like everybody gets a trophy. Everybody gets the equal playing time. I don't agree with that.
No,
I don't agree with it at all.
I don't either.
All right. Well, now the show has officially begun. We have Mr. Benjamin Bartlett Jr. checking in.
Hey, Benjamin.
Hi, Ben.
And Ben notes that, not saying they are equal, but some reports of bullying today are what I would call peer pressure.
Yeah, I think let's define what bullying is first.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because people throw that, I've noticed that terminology, that the meaning is changing.
It is.
Thanks for that, Ben.
Yeah.
What would y'all consider the definition of bullying, or what would you consider it to be?
I think bullying is harsh. I think bullying is intent hatred given towards someone. And I feel that you have peer pressure, where peer pressure was just that they were trying to pressure you to do something or pressure you to be a part of something. Bullying is a manipulation. It is an attack. It can be by one person, it can be by several people, and adapting. We have social media now, they have pictures, they have videos, they're posted to different platforms.
Name calling.
Oh, yeah, it's horrible.
Yeah.
So I think that peer pressure and bullying, they may be close neighbors, but I don't feel that they're the same. And so please don't get,
I wouldn't put them, they may be cousins, but no, I wouldn't. Bullying is forceful.
It is. It is.
I'm gonna throw something else out to y'all before we start to segue into another particular topic under this umbrella. How do you feel about parents today not disciplining their children? For instance, it's been plenty of times, and I got contacts at school systems throughout Charlotte that their parents are notified of their behavior. The parents come down after receiving a call from the principal addressing them to what their children are doing, and actually come down to the school and actually immediately start defending their child instead of listening fully to what the principal is bringing to their attention, as well as the teachers. Now, how in an environment like that can you expect a child to respect administration or what's another word for it?
I mean, just who your leadership and authority figures are.
Yes.
That's kind of broad, and I'm not taking up a mother and father. The school system is for one. They have no tolerance. No tolerance. When we were growing up, if you look, it's like, I'm sorry, you gotta go. Patience. So it's like, it's only a case in order to win. You know what I'm saying? My son had a problem with, after he was done, and he would just sit around, his head down or whatever, and the teacher was being disrespectful. Now, I'm sitting here saying that he's not being disrespectful. This is why I'm defending my son. Right. He's not being disrespectful, but he's finished. He's very bored. Long story short, it got to be the point where it started to cause friction between him and the teacher. And then I got a call, here we go again. I think this is a lot of the issues when we come with Black males, but they thought he needed to be on some type of medicine.
They tried to label him.
Right. And it come to find out that he was bored because when they took him out of regular classes, put him in honors classes, and they ran a problem out of it again.
Right.
So, right, he wasn't challenged, and that's what they said, he wasn't challenged enough. So I just think that, I don't know how to answer that question.
Your parents had car parties. You had a cookout, even if it was just one.
Yeah.
Your parent had that one cookout every year.
I mean, maybe not all, some people are introverts, all parents aren't,
and
barbecues.
And that's fine.
Weekends,
But I'm saying, across the board, really, like how social are you to be an example on how to be social?
Yes,
like
sir.
we have to kind of look at that too.
All right. Y'all brought us some good information right there. So why don't we move on to balance in school, and this kind of goes hand in hand. You see how some children actually interact with their teachers, laying hands on them now.
But I think the teachers are in a bad situation because I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm gonna be straight up. Wrong. I'll tell you, put your hands on me. We just isolate one of these kids out. Because and I think
I fight kids from 8 to 21.
That's my law. And my kids put their hands on me.
Yes.
Right. We're gonna have a problem. Absolutely. So you're not gonna just put your hands on me. And I think that I've seen a lot of these videos that go viral. Man, these kids are off the chain.
Like, and it's not even like trying to
disrespectful.
The teacher where they might shove it, and I'm not saying that one act is better than the other or acceptable, but I mean, you think about that kid who was in our school. They used to get up and try to intimidate the teacher. They might square up with the teacher, but they never like put their hands on a teacher. And these kids are like going to blows. They're throwing desks. They're throwing.
And the teachers are being suspended and being placed on leave. I don't agree with that.
Yes.
No, I don't agree with that at all. Because you gotta understand, these kids, they eating there's something in the oatmeal. These kids ain't little kids.
No, they're not.
It's like grown men and women.
I tell my guys when they get at a certain age, I was like, y'all are man-child.
Keith Barnwell dropped another nugget. He said, there lies the problem. I'm not for certain which point of the topic we were talking about that he's talking about right here, but he goes on and states that we don't talk to our kids. We talk at them and allow too much social media. Go to any restaurant and watch a family for 1 minute. Everyone is engaged in their phone and not at each other. Good point, Keith. Appreciate you sharing that.
Are you guys putting phones down during dinner at the house?
That's the rule.
It's the rule in my house. No technology at the table.
I could do better.
Hey, money. You would technology at the table.
Unfortunately, yes.
My sons were still, I would make them put the phone down and make them engage with each other.
But it still gives them, it kind of starts to set behavior.
Yeah.
It does. It does. Well, another interesting thing I wanted to delve in is etiquette. Kids. Now, I go out with my two boys, and it amazes me. You think that you don't do enough as far as a parent to actually guide them in the way that they need to be guided. And I get them out in public, and one of the first things that I do, or they do, when they're going inside of any type of department store or grocery store, is if there's a door to be open and there's somebody behind them, they hold it open and let the individual go in before you now see where they get it from. Sorry, the inside joke, Nikki. But a lot of times you don't see kids practicing etiquette anymore.
So, you know, Nicci, I will share this with us, and Nicci, I'll share this with you. So when I first started, they introduced the agent, and you know, we worked together. And break or like running to get a snack, lunch, whatever kids, I was going for a door. And so he just stopped one day. He said, "Listen, you and me, you gonna have to stop that."
Right.
And so he literally, and I tell my time, he trained me to, you know,
Fall back.
Fall back, let him open the door. So, I mean, you can go by, okay, this is upbringing, what happens, you know, going around the day. I never thought of like, okay, you need to fall back. There's a gentleman with you, you need to open the door.
Yeah.
And so him having his sons that way, me teaching my daughters, hey, you know, if he's with you, friend or not, they need to show some type of, you know, manners, and they can open the door, pull out the chairs. It sounds corny, but it's really not.
No, it's not.
It's not at all. So our inside joke is because I just told him, I think a couple weeks ago, I was like, you trained me. Because I got to the door and I stopped. So he could open the door. So.
But it goes beyond the door. It's teaching your men to respect women.
Yep.
It goes beyond the door. It's about respect.
Yep. It's deeper.
Right.
It's deeper than that.
Oh, okay. Now we get some steam here. Hey, Cassandra Hicks, thanks for joining. Today's topic is It Takes a Tribe. We're talking about the issues that actually plague our youth today. Any comments on that, please share. And also share, everyone that's on here right now, please share the show right now with your friends, family. Go ahead and actually make it go live on your end as well.
So Nicci, having sons, I have two girls, 18 and 16. You having boys. Do you find that the girls are a little more aggressive as far as approach to young men these days?
These little girls be acting like grown men. You know, I tell you, this is so funny. I remember my son was in the 3rd grade, and he told me he liked this girl. He said, "Mom, I want to give her a gift." And I'm like, "Okay, well, you know, he's young. There's nothing wrong with making cards or whatever." We were at the store, and he bought this little dollar necklace or whatever. He said, "I want to give her a gift." Okay. I think about 3 weeks later, he came home. He had the little necklace in his hand, and I said, "Well, why are you? I thought you gave that away." He was like, "I had to take it back." He was like, "She kept asking me for my treats at lunch." She was demanding. I remember he used the word demand. She was asking me too much. He was like, so I broke up with her. And I said, "Well, son, that's how it starts, you know." And but even at that age, he felt like, you just, you know, just asking for my treats at lunch. I don't want to get my chocolate milk. Right. So he broke up with her. But he, at 17, he said, "Mom, you know, this, you know," he had broke up with this one girl. He said, she's jealous. She's too possessive." And I've always told my sons, when you encounter a possessive woman, and that goes for a man or a woman, right? You need to leave them immediately. You don't linger in that type of relationship. And I've been teaching my sons this early, you know, because I think it's a valuable relationship to get into, you know. And at that age, when you're jealous, and teenagers, and he's like, "Mama, she gets mad when I talk to other girls." These are kids.
Insecurities, you're raising your kids, and it's, I think my mother used to say before even, I was a child, she used to say, kids don't have suitcases. The first thing you put in is the last thing that comes out. And we as parents have to be careful on what we're picking with our children.
But a lot of it starts at home, though, with the parents.
It does.
You know, and this is a whole nother topic. I don't mean to, I hope what I'm about to say is not going to offend nobody, but, you know, and I've had a problem with this because as a mother, it is bothering me. But to hear my son say, "Ma, you know, these black girls that I've been trying to talk to, I don't feel respected by them. I don't like the way they talk to me. They're always trying to put their hands on me." And now I'm seeing him tiptoeing over across the street. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Does it bother me? It bothers me because his experiences as a young boy is shaping him.
It's tainted his perception.
Exactly. And I keep trying to say, hey, this is not all black girls. All black women are, you know.
Right.
So we're already dealing with this issue because of what he's dealing with even as a teenager. That's a whole other topic, but.
So what was his response to that? As far as, was it receptive, or did it give him a different perspective on what you were trying to portray to him?
Well, I mean, he didn't reject it,
Mm-hmm.
you know. His first example was me.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So his first example was me, and so you know I will continue to be that that role model. But there's certain things that I just know that you know, just things will just have to play out. Like I told him, you know, and I'll be quiet about that.
Well, I'll tell you this, as a mom with one of my daughters is in an interracial relationship. It is an adjustment, but I've always taught them that it is important to be respected and to be loved. The rapper doesn't matter, you know. But be prepared.
Yeah, I don't know
what
and I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. Well,
our society is not so open. You know, our house is not society. Our house is not, you know, how everyone thinks. So you have to be prepared for what that looks like when you come across someone in a store or maybe someone else in his family that's like,
right. My brother encountered that, you know, the marriage was off. I tell and you know, some people may be offended by this. I'm very candid, but and I've told my son I continue to be that example for him as a Black woman. But I've accepted the fact that, you know, this is maybe his choice.
right.
But if she can't march with you, if she can't open her mouth and defend you, if she can't do none of these things, she doesn't need to be with you.
Does not need to be with you, and that is my biggest thing.
That's my problem. If she can't march with you, you don't need to be with him.
If he will never associate what it is to be Black, but if he loves you, he loves all things that's Black.
Exactly. And I've told my son that I don't want you to marry someone who only is in love with your Blackness,
right,
but doesn't love your Black mother, your Black culture, your Black sisters.
Not the stuff that's comfortable.
Exactly. Right. And that's real talk right there.
Yes, it is. Yes. And these unfortunately are the conversations, you know, bringing it full circle. I don't think it's our topic at all. These are the conversations that parents need to have with their children. To eliminate and help prevent some of these issues with our youth right now, with bullying. Bullying, you know, is pent up aggression. Right. It's a crowd for attention. It's all of these things that child isn't getting. And there usually is probably one person that is the bully and the other ones are peer pressured into just being in that group of saying, oh, we're going to attack that kid. Right. But I think there's a lack of love, a lack of attention, a lack of an open forum to be able to communicate yourself and express your feelings, to make them say, well, I need to feel better about myself. Right. So let me belittle someone else. Right.
It's funny that you say that. I'm looking at a particular article from Balance in Schools, Causes and Solutions, Voices of the Youth. And this was a document submitted by Izini Ayana. And she notes in one paragraph that school violence may arise due to psychological deficiencies created by dysfunctional homes, worry, hatred, inferiority, complex, anger, and other negative emotions which fuel violent behavior could develop in people when they are exposed to poor parenting or discord amongst family members. Also, in homes where parents, guardians display violent behavior, children /wards usually adopt violence as a way to assert authority.
I agree. I think that as parents, we have to support if your child's in public school. Well, I guess it doesn't matter, public or private. We have to support the school. And
I think that's the wrong way too.
The school does make it difficult because there's like 101 texts and emails and voice messages at home about a track game and this and that, whatever. But you know, I want to talk to the principal about what do you need. You know, I don't think any parents get the opportunity to sit down with the principal and say, what do you need? What is it that I can provide for you? How can I support the classroom that my child is in? How can I support maybe the tougher classes, the math, the science? What is it that you need? It's lost. So they feel like the best thing is just to shut everything out, shut everything in, keep a controlled environment, and that's it. And those kids feel that. Our kids have a longer day than we did. They don't do pep rallies. They don't do like booster funding. They don't have any of that. They don't even have, you know, we used to hate to have to go into the auditorium.
Yeah.
They don't even have those anymore. They're just shuffled like cattle from class to class. They have 20 minutes to eat lunch.
My son, he don't even, I said, why would you need a locker? He's like, I have no time, Mom. I can't even go to my locker.
They don't even have, in my daughter, they don't have lockers.
He's lugging his 2 bags around all day because if he's late, you know, I get that, you know, they got that thing down where my phone will go off if he's late. That's it.
So I'm gathering from you both that it's the school is accountable as well as the children.
The school
and
has
parents.
problems too. I think they should both share equal responsibilities. You know, there's a lot more expected from these kids now. My son even comes home and he says, you know, he's one of these kids. It's like, Mom, there's just so much they're making us do that I don't even need. You know, I have no desire for this. This is not what I want to do. I'm not going to take this with me when I, you know, and there's a stress.
They are stressed.
There's a stress.
They are extremely stressed. And it's just, you can see it on your children's face when they're coming in. And, you know, my daughter's school started at 7, so she's up at 5. She comes in, she takes her nap. And then she gets up and she eats and she's like, you know, some days she's like, hey, how you doing? It's normal. And some days she's just like, that's my son. Mom, I have a day today. And you know, that's my pause moment. That's my sit down and talk. Let's talk it out because they have to deal with stuff that we weren't thinking about.
Right.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this. We're about to get old school on you for a moment. Now, as far as kids that don't want to conform, let's just say we're in a decent school that's performing academically well. You got programs that keep the children active, but for the ones that don't want to conform, how would you feel as far as assistant principals laying hands on your children?
Wait, when you say conform, what do you mean?
Yeah, what do you mean?
When I say lay hands, paddling.
We used to I remember getting paddled when I was in elementary school. I
So
think.
did they have a problem?
I gotta go with what Nicci was saying earlier though. I'm not saying that you didn't have probably a teacher that might have been biased or whatever, but you had a different breed of teachers in school administrative that they were doing it because you needed it, or it was like, hey, you broke a rule. I'm not very confident in school administration that will be fair.
Right, you beating my kid because you hate him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's ain't nothing out of love. Right. You know what I'm saying? I believe in discipline and love. Right. And how we know that is not going to always be the case.
And you know who's going to be targeted.
I think that the way things are now, I don't think it should be. There's no way.
So you don't think that actually helped at all with?
Well, here's the thing: you can't sit here. It's a double standard.
Yes.
You can't sit here now and say, well, this person put their hands. They get immediately suspended when you put hands on somebody.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
what? I mean.
That's true. That's true. The way it is now.
Paddling went on what, in elementary school? Was it high school? They didn't have paddling when we was in high school. What it look like you paddling these big kids?
No.
Right? They bigger than you. And you actually think that they gonna bend over and let you do that? No. That ain't gonna happen. You still be running.
Yeah, seems like it ended at the elementary school.
Yeah, that won't happen.
So what are you saying that you feel that if this was, and I'm not saying you, but just in general, if you feel that paddling may have be introduced into elementary school, it may have some influence once they get time.
On the prospect of them understanding authority.
But see, that starts at home now.
I agree.
That's the thing. It's like, I'm with you. It's at home. Because you can sit and paddle this child, and he's still gonna go, he or she gonna go back into their environment.
Yes.
It ain't gonna stop. It's not gonna stop anything.
Good point. Good point.
But we did, there was a different breed of teachers. Miss Davis, I will never forget her as teachers when we was kids. You know, these were like second moms.
Yeah.
You cut up. It was just like getting in trouble with your own
They
mom.
pulled you to the side.
Right.
And again, because you had the same mindset and the same caliber parent, they knew that you worked. And, you know, this is getting into a bigger, you know, topic, but we went to neighborhood schools. We worked in our neighborhood. We shopped in our neighborhoods.
Yeah.
You saw your teacher in the grocery store.
Right.
Saw your teacher in the mall. You had a cross-reference to them outside of school.
And they lived in your neighborhood.
Then they lived in your neighborhood.
Right.
So you had more of an intimate relationship with your teacher other than it just being your teachers. And for the teachers who did not, you know, live where you live, they were familiar with the area. They took it upon themselves to learn where they lived and how far kids were from the school and what was in the neighborhood.
Right.
So they weren't totally foreign. So then they also had a sense of belonging and an attachment because they understood where you were.
Just like policing.
It's like, right. Yes, I know that's right. So it wasn't so easy just to be so cold. It just detached. You know, from a child, it's a child, you know? You're supposed to be an educator.
Right.
It's just, I have a passion about it, and I let the teachers know that have my children in class, you know, they get the same speech, but I mean what I say. You know, I'll support you, but I need you to support me.
Yeah.
And I hold you accountable to do your job, just like I hold my child to be there.
And when they understand, and I've gotten a lot of responses from my son's teachers, when they know that you're on this end doing your part, you know what I'm saying? It's really having that communication with the teachers. Because, you know, there's times where they've reached out to me and said, you know, what they'll tell them, I know that you know better. You know, so it's really having that communication with the teachers. It does help. Because like I told him, I said, you know, and I've told my sons, the teachers are a different breed. And there's a lot. I said, son, you could fail, you could get kicked out, that teacher's still gonna get their check in 2 weeks. Okay? Your lack of or whatever does not affect their paycheck.
You're not hurting them.
So you're not hurting them at all. And some don't care. You know.
And they expect it. Again, another subject, but when they see you, they automatically assume you either come from a broken home, you don't have any upbringing or manners. They automatically assume. So it is important that I, as a parent, or my husband and I, go to the school where it's not about trying to front, but it is to leave an impression that, you know, I don't care about what goes on, but those two Bartlett girls, I need you to make sure that
And
you do what you're supposed to do.
And both of you think that the teachers are more receptive whenever they see an involved parent like
They
that.
do.
Oh, they absolutely.
They are.
They are.
I remember, I know we're talking about some teachers that made a difference when we were coming up. Tammy, thanks for joining us.
Hey, Tammy.
Real quickly, again, we're talking about it takes a tribe. And this is in reference to the issues that are plaguing our youth today. And touching back on what I was getting ready to get started on was that I remember in the 5th grade, me and some other kids, I wasn't always good, so don't judge me. Don't judge me. Me and some other kids were picking on this young lady, this young girl, and just doing it. It makes me cringe thinking about it. Now I'm talking about it, but we would do this daily, and on this particular day, she eventually ended up running out of class. And the teacher ran after her and talked to her in the hall. And what she ended up finding out was that the girl had recently lost her father. And dealing with that trauma and us being kids picking at her just broke her down. And teacher came back in and immediately stopped the class and she ripped us. She ripped us a new one. And that moment always stayed with me. And I'm appreciative of her being a good teacher to do something like that. And I guess just piggybacking off of what you were saying is It's some good ones out there, but maybe it's not enough.
Not anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's not enough. And I, you know, my friends that are educators, my family that are educators, you know, I appreciate what you do, and
Yes.
they literally are in a needle in a haystack.
Yes.
The stories I hear from them about the conversations that the teachers are having about the children, the gossiping that is going on about the children. It is, I can't believe that adults are stooping to that level. You talk about the children, but you have teachers who are bullies too. I mean, they are really reckless and unprofessional with what they're saying about children.
Judith Brown, thank you for joining us this evening again. We're talking about It Takes a Tribe, and this is addressing issues that are plaguing our youth today. You can share your comments or any queries that you may have in reference to this, and we'll be more than happy to touch on it. So,
Hey, Judy.
yeah. So,
Wait a minute, Jim Brown? That's not.
you just got off.
I'm sorry. Hey, Aunt Jenny.
And one more time with the introduction, and really this young lady doesn't need to be introduced anymore, but just in case you don't know who she is, we've been joined by Nicci Canada at the round tables, jazz artist, first lady of jazz.
Yes.
We're at the round table. Appreciate you again joining us. But accountability, let's touch on that real quick as far as kids and raising kids. Accountability, how do you both hold your children, or well, young people now accountable on a lot of things that they do out in the public?
My method is accountability comes with repercussions.
What type of repercussions?
You go back for it. I mean, it's for me, it depends on what it is. Right, the situation is. It may say, look, I'm not going to take you to a certain place, or you're not going to get to go or do a certain thing. I am somebody who, until you move out of my house, you need to have laying on the hands. I'm going to bring it to you. I don't care how old you are. So.
Now, Nicci, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Nicci, now you're always on the go.
Yeah.
Now, and I see you on social media tearing it up. I mean, I don't see how you get any rest. But just out of curiosity, how do you keep your kids accountable whenever you're not around, in touch with them, or, you know, being that person in their head even when you're not around?
Well, you're right, 17 now. You know, my 20-year-old, he's out of the house. I always had it to where, I always made sure that I was at home when I got home from school. My son is 17 and he's now saying, could you please stop asking me this, Mom? I ask him every day, how was your day? How was school? Is there anything you can talk to me about? I'm here. I've always asked my kids that. Again, they don't talk all the time, but I've opened up that line of communication with them. Accountability, they know because it's just been embedded in them that whatever decision that you make, there is a repercussion for it. There is, you're going to, oh God, I forgot the word. Whatever you choose, there is I'm having a brain freeze. A consequence to whatever you do, and they know that. So I've just, I'm a parent that I took a different approach, and I'll say this because with my oldest son, we were raised, you do as I say and not as I do. It's wrong. You have to understand that kids are people, and we were raised that, it's like, we take this thing like, let's say your mom slapped you or whatever. And the mom or dad would turn around and say, stop crying. How do you tell somebody to stop crying? You just shut up. You know what I'm saying?
Or that you better not cry.
Or you better not cry. And I used to tell my husband, I said, I remember, they would get angry at what we said. They would stomp up the stairs, or you could hear them like tussling in the bedroom. And my husband, even myself, when they were really young, I would go in there and say, you don't. And I thought to myself, Nicci, they're angry, which is a normal behavior. People can get angry. Why are you trying to make him hide that emotion. If he's angry, he's just angry. And so I felt that it is okay to allow a child to express himself as long as he's not disrespectful. If you want to go upstairs and you want to toss stuff around or whatever, you see what I'm saying? What we're teaching them is that they don't have a voice, which we're not teaching them how to have open communication.
Yes.
If we're arguing with them, we tell them, be quiet, don't say nothing, shut up. If you keep telling a child that, especially a boy,
Yes.
You got pinned up emotions. You see what I'm saying? And you're wrong for telling your child that.
Exactly.
So what I did was, I realized the mistake that I made with my oldest, and I said, okay, I got to fix this. With my 17-year-old, you know, the communication is so there to where he'll say, you know, I have something on my mind and I want to tell you how I feel. He can say whatever he wants as long as he's not disrespectful. That's the rules, because he has every right to be able to express how he feels. We weren't taught that. It was
given that option. No.
Right, and I don't think it's fair, because what you're doing is that you're not teaching your child to have conflict resolution, to be able to express themselves, and when they get older, they have bad communication, even in their marriages, their relationships, because they don't know how to express themselves. So again, it starts with the parents. We have to do better with our kids. We can talk about the school system all day.
It starts at home.
It starts at home.
And I believe that. I feel that we open that up with our kids as well. Now, I'm not letting you toss up your room, but I will let you, you know, go up there and do what you need to do, cool down. You know, I remember my oldest, she got mad, she come upstairs, she slammed the door. I was like, I said, wait. I said, hold on, let me not go up there right now. So then, you know, I went up later and I said, look, I know you're upset, you know, but slamming doors and, you know, if I'm not slamming doors, you're not slamming doors. Now you have your right to be in your room, be angry and do whatever you want to do, but I don't want to have that. You can come back down, talk to me, and tell me where you think I was wrong, or if you can try to have a compromise, we not slamming doors in my house. And she was like, okay, you know, and then we talked. And actually, she had a very valid point. Once we discussed what I guess made her angry about, she had a very valid point. And I said, you know what, I tell you what, I'm gonna talk to Daddy and let's see if we can come to a compromise. Had the option. My mother said, you do, and it's a no.
But see, we have to, because we all been raised like that. But, and like I said, it's, I totally agree with what you said. It's like you have to take this different approach. It's like, well, we could say, well, you can't slam my door, but if you made that, if that child made you angry, you turn around and you hit him.
Right.
So what are we teaching? Now, that child slammed the door, but when you get angry, you hit him.
And that's
what
I was
teaching.
That was where I was, and I said, no, I caught myself. I said, no, you're going in and you're going in with flamethrowers, you know. And my intent was like, oh, you slammed my door. Okay, that means you want to fight. You know what I mean? Like you've already processed this.
And they're angry.
And they're angry.
Exactly. And we have to teach our kids that so those are emotions, and you have no right to turn that off. Let them, as long as they're not disrespectful. Right, because there are certain things that we're teaching them that could affect them. To me, it's more about communication. Because, like I said, we was raised that I don't care what happened, you cannot talk.
Throwing chest be on fire because you like.
Right. Then you don't have to do stuff in, then you're frustrated, and that affects relationships as you grow up. So.
Well, good points. Now, Tammy Lawrence says, hello. Hi, Tammy.
Hi, Tammy.
Mr. Russell Mitchell joined us. Hey, Mr. Russell.
Mr. Russell, thank you.
Also, Sean Bird, my partner. I haven't seen you in a while. Appreciate you joining in, sir. And again, tonight's topic is It Takes a Village, and we're looking and trying to address issues currently plaguing our youth today. Now, with that, it takes a village. It takes a village to raise a child. That's the way the old proverb would go. Now, with you both, how would you handle addressing someone's kid? Let's just say it's a neighborhood child. Would you address a child that's not yours?
Absolutely. I did it the other day.
Okay. Now, there's a lot of people, well, there's a lot of our parents that would take offense to that.
They would.
So
They would. They absolutely would. I'd probably draw the line of putting my hand on a child
Mhm.
unless they're like, trying to do something to me.
mhm.
But as far as, letting them know, I do it all the time. I'm known in my neighborhood as the lady with the dreads, the crazy lady with the dreads, cutting through my yard or like, just doing stuff. I'm like, yo, but I'm not evil. I'm like, young man, come here. Or young lady, can I talk to you for a second? And I try to approach them with dipping my words in honey, as my aunt used to say. And it has always gone over well. Had one young man where he's, beep, 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 and I had to let him know you don't intimidate me.
Right.
So then I had to get a little more personal with him. But as far as addressing
It is.
someone's children,
Mhm.
definitely will. No problem with
I
it.
have no problems. I told this little kid, he was doing something to somebody's car out in front. And he didn't know because I was watching him out the screen window. And I said, if you don't stop, I'm gonna spank those cheeks. I'm gonna tell your mother. And he looked up and he started running. I thought it was funny.
Yes.
I have no problem dressing for kids. None.
I think it's needed more than ever
It
today.
is. It definitely is. It definitely is.
Mhm.
Definitely is.
I know my neighbors didn't have a problem with dressing. They chastised me immediately.
They were the police.
Oh yes.
You couldn't do nothing.
Literally.
And you would be terrified, like, oh my
Yeah.
God. And that's what gave us even when we didn't have the sense
Mhm.
to do the right thing, it kept us from doing the
Yeah.
wrong thing. Because you were like, I don't know who's gonna see me and who's gonna tell my mom or my
Yeah.
dad or
Because
whatever.
Miss
So,
Doug could be sitting out there looking through the little curtains. You never knew who was watching.
yeah, absolutely.
Verbally tear you up.
Yes.
And you don't even have to put your hands on it.
Yes.
Then once your parents get in,
That's
they
it.
let them know. And
And it could be 2 weeks later. Oh, I see Adrian the last was the other week. He was down there throwing rocks. And you like, am I in trouble? That happened like 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
But that's what held us accountable. I think.
Right.
Mhm. Yeah, that's right. Well, ladies, we got 5 minutes before we get ready to sign off. And again, for you joining in right now, you haven't already had a chance to hear who we have today as a special guest. We have Miss Nicci Canada joining us. Miss Danny McLean, I apologize if I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly, but we greatly appreciate you joining us this evening.
Hey.
And while we still have a couple of minutes, ma'am, we're addressing today's topic is it takes a village. We're delving into the issues that plague our youth today. And for all y'all that's out there watching live, drop a comment, share, throw some more thumbs up, show some love. Ladies, y'all have anything else that
I have a
y'all?
question.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Do parents, and this probably sounds backwards,
Mhm.
but do parents respect adults that aren't parents being a part of their village?
Who?
You mean as far as discipline our kids?
Just not so much a discipline, but just, because a village is, a network, a community to support, that child. So maybe it may be discipline, maybe it may be advice, or, so as a parent, do you respect someone who isn't a parent to be able to?
Oh, absolutely.
Because there's some people that's like, you don't have any children. I've heard that to several people who don't have children, and I think they're honorable, I think they're respectful, I think they're intelligent, and I was just in awe that their input was just shut down because they weren't parents.
Anybody that has a vested interest in my child, I'm sure your children as well, anybody that has a vested interest in their well-being, I don't have a problem with whether they have children or not.
Right. I think too, though, is that you just, because of everything that's going on, and I'm not saying that it's gotten worse, I just think that with the power of social media and the news, everything is right now.
Yep.
And even as a parent, it's hard to trust people.
Yes.
This is
Who do
true.
you trust?
Yes.
Even as my kids, like I said, it's funny because I think he was 13 and 14. Even when about 3-4 months, I would always say, how's everything in school? Is there anybody touching you? I would say that all the time. If someone touches you, this is what you do. If they threaten you, nothing's going to happen to mommy. I embedded that in my kids because it's like, there's a lack of trust,
Mhm.
you know, with parents. And I won't lie, as a parent, I have this lack of trust because you just like, what is their intent?
Yes.
You know, so I'm not, and it's, again, I don't think it's because there are more pedophiles.
Right.
I just think that because we get information immediately, everything's thrown at us.
But this
Mhm.
goes back to our last
This is
show.
what
It
happens.
does.
Yeah, our
Right.
last show as far as
Touches on that.
the news, the media, putting
Yeah.
all that stuff up front
Right,
and not hearing other things.
right,
So it's starting to condition you.
yes.
I'm not saying, oh, just put on rose-colored glasses. Like, oh, yeah, everyone's great.
Yeah.
Go and take my son. Sure,
I
yeah.
would teach my kids, don't talk to strangers. By the time it was really to start having dialogue, I never forget my oldest son was like, Mom, tell me not to talk to strangers. I'm like, well, okay, well, let's retract that. Say hello.
Right.
You know,
Yes.
you're in the presence of me, so,
Right.
you know.
Right. I'm pretty sure you have great young men. You sound a lot like me, and I go by the comments and the compliments that I get.
You don't realize you're doing your job.
Right.
Until
Until
you
somebody says something, they're like, oh, so your daughter, you know,
Right,
and I'm
right.
like, well, first of all, how you know it's my daughter? You know,
Right.
like, oh, I see your picture on Facebook. I was like, oh, okay. And it was like, yeah, she was in the store and blah, blah, blah. And when she had a job, they would go into the restaurant and they're like, you know, I saw her, she was working.
Yeah.
And, you know, it really speaks volumes. It gives you that gold star to say, okay, hey, I'm doing what I need to do. So I know you hear those same stories.
Oh, yeah.
We sounds like similar moms.
Hey, somebody you know, Miss Julie Atkins, has actually joined us. Miss
Oh,
Julie.
hey, Miss Julie.
Again, unfortunately, we're near the end of the show, Miss
Yeah.
Julia, but the topic was it takes a village, and we're talking about the issues that plague our youth today. So we're about to get ready to sign out momentarily, but if you get an opportunity, please go back and review the video. And again, you can still comment, we check it and share it as well.
We do check it. So just because the live portion is over, once you watch the recording, please still comment, because sometimes your comments can spark another topic. And we do have here at the roundtable that if any of your suggestions or anything that you may have given us that will spark a new topic for a show, we will get in contact with you and give you a gift.
I like it.
Yes. And before we get ready to sign off, I just want to make mention to our guest again and thank her for joining us.
Yes,
If
thank you.
yes,
Thank you for having me. It was good.
If you missed it, this is Miss Nicci Canada,
Hello, everyone.
jazz artist. You heard her voice,
Beautiful voice.
jazz artist and entrepreneur. Real quick before we actually leave, any upcoming events for
Dapper Street. Well, you know, we have piano jazz tomorrow, which piano jazz is Sean Higgins is going to play tribute to Herbie Hancock. This will be at the Tableau Senior Center. And April the 4th, we have Kobe Watkins coming in from Durham, North Carolina. He's going to be playing tribute to Art Blake.
Okay.
That's going to be a
Yes.
really great tribute. This is going to be held at the Mallow Creek Rec Center. That's Thursday, April the 4th. But in order to keep up with what Dapper Street has got going on, just go to dapperjazz.com, sign up for the email list, and we'll get those events out to you.
Okay. And for those who want to follow you as well?
Follow Nicci Canada. That's NicciCanada.com.
All right. You got anything else before we?
I'm good. Great dialogue, great show as always. Nicci, thank you again. I'm so excited. I'm like a fan, I tell you. I am definitely getting my pictures, and I will be posting it after the show. And just shout outs to my loved ones and my family related by blood and love. Have a good one.
Hey, but we will give you a little treat leaving out tonight.
Yes.
Leave you with some more soulful sounds from Nicci Canada from her song Attraction.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
I said that be no relationship, but here we go again. Keeps breaking us, yeah. This heavy.
All right, fam. Have a good evening.
Nice.